Good morning, everyone. It is Friday, December 7th, 2018, here at the Southwestern Pennsylvania World War II Memorial. Precisely 77 years ago at this moment, at 7:53 a.m. Hawaiian Islands, 12:53 p.m. Eastern Time, the first Japanese assault wave with 51 Val-Die bombers, 40 K torpedo bombers, 50 high-altitude bombers, and 43 Zero fighters commenced the attack on the U.S. Navy anchorage at Pearl Harbor. Japanese Flight Commander Mitsutsu Fujita relayed to Japanese fleet sailing 200 miles north of Hawaii, "Tora, Tora, Tora," exulting to his commanders that complete surprise had been achieved. Moments later, the battle began. The Japanese Navy's first attack wave targeted airfields and Battleship Row. The second wave targets additional ships and shipyard facilities. 8 battleships are damaged, with 5 sunk in the harbor. 3 light cruisers, 3 destroyers, and 3 smaller vessels were lost, along with 188 aircraft. The battleships Utah, Oklahoma, and Arizona are total losses. The Japanese lose 29 planes and 5 midget submarines, which attempted to penetrate the inner harbor and launch torpedoes as the attack began. One was successful. At 8:10 hours, 1:10 Eastern Time, an armor-piercing bomb dropped from a high-altitude Japanese bomber pierced the forward deck of the battleship Arizona. The bomb set off more than 1 million pounds of gunpowder, creating a huge fireball and explosion. In one instant, 1,177 men are lost, of which 1,102 of them still remain entombed within the ship still today. Casualties included 2,335 servicemen and 68 civilians killed, along with 1,178 wounded. In a short while, I will sound taps in honor of that fallen crew and all those killed on that day of infamy. At 9:45, the attack ended, 2:45 Eastern Time. On the following day, December the 8th, 1941, President Roosevelt addressed a joint session of Congress with what has been called the Day of Infamy speech. I will read that speech now as it was written and delivered so many years ago. Yesterday, December 7th, 1941, a date which will live in infamy, the United States of America was suddenly and deliberately attacked by naval and air forces of the Empire of Japan. The United States was at peace with that nation, and at the solicitation of Japan, was still in conversation with its government and its emperor, looking towards the maintenance of peace in the Pacific. Indeed, 1 hour after Japanese air squadrons had commenced bombing in the American island of Oahu, the Japanese ambassador to the United States and his colleague delivered to our Secretary of State a formal reply to a recent American message. And while this reply stated it seemed useless to continue the existing diplomatic negotiations, it contained no threat or hint of war or of armed attack. It will be recorded that the distance of Hawaii from Japan makes it obvious that the attack was deliberately planned many days or even weeks ago. During the intervening time, the Japanese government has deliberately sought to deceive the United States by false statements and expressions of hope for continued peace. The attack yesterday on the Hawaiian Islands has caused severe damage to American naval and military forces. I regret to tell you that very many American lives have been lost. In addition, American ships have been reported torpedoed on the high seas between San Francisco and Honolulu. Yesterday, the Japanese government also launched an attack against Malaya. Last night, Japanese forces attacked Hong Kong. Last night, Japanese forces attacked Guam. Last night, Japanese forces attacked the Philippine Islands. Last night, the Japanese attacked Wake Island. And this morning, the Japanese attacked Midway Island. Japan has, therefore, undertaken a surprise offensive extending throughout the Pacific area. The facts of yesterday and today speak for themselves. The people of the United States have already formed their opinions, as well understand the implications to the very life and safety of our nation. As Commander-in-Chief of the Army and Navy, I have directed that all measures be taken for our defense, but it will always be our whole nation remember the character of the onslaught against us. No matter how long it will take us to overcome this premeditated invasion, the American people and their righteous might will win through absolute victory. I believe that I interpret the will of the Congress and the people when I assert that we will not only defend ourselves to the uttermost, but we will make very certain that this form of treachery shall never endanger us again. Hostilities exist. There is no blinking of the fact that our people, our territory, and our interests are in grave danger. With confidence in our armed forces, with the unbounding determination of our people, we will gain the inevitable triumph, so help us God. I ask that the Congress declare that since the unprovoked and dastardly attack by Japan on Sunday, December 7, 1941, a state of war has existed between the United States and the Japanese Empire. Just earlier this week, President Bush, our 41st president, a World War II fighter bomber pilot in the United States Navy, passed away. And let us remember his service to our great country, not only as a World War II veteran, a warrior, a brave, brave pilot, shot down twice. Let us remember his service to our great country. A few short months ago, Seaman Second Class William Campbell's body was identified and returned to his hometown of Elizabethton, Tennessee, where I currently reside. He served aboard the USS Oklahoma and was killed in action December 7, 1941. Hundreds of people turned out to the Tri-Cities Airport to welcome his body back home to Northeast Tennessee in tribute to this fallen hero. Seaman Campbell is just one of the 419,400 Americans that were killed in action during World War II. It is estimated that over 70 million people died, as high as maybe 85 million, all told, yet the real toll will never be known. I will now play taps in their honor. Let us remember those who lost their lives on December 7, 1941 and throughout World War II for what this memorial is all about here in downtown Pittsburgh. Let us pray that their sacrifices, their honor, and their legacy from this moment forward is remembered as long as America remains free. Thank you for joining me today. Hello friends, welcome to the Southwestern Pennsylvania World War II Memorial. It's here between PNC Park and Heinz Field. It is December the 7th, the anniversary of the attack on Pearl Harbor. For the past 6 years, I've been coming here to do a December the 7th presentation. It's about 335 miles from my home in Elizabethton, Tennessee. to here to the shores, the North Shore of Pittsburgh. I do this in honor of my great uncles that served in World War II, 12 of them from Southwestern Pennsylvania, and also my stepdad, Bill Baker. He also served in the Navy during World War II, and I am here to do a little virtual tour of the memorial and what it's about for a number of different places, but for your enjoyment and your remembrance. It is obviously December the 7th. Flag is at half-staff for a number of reasons, not only for the attack on Pearl Harbor and the commemoration of that event 77 years ago, but also the passing of President George Bush, who was a World War II U.S. Navy fighter bomber pilot. And let us remember President Bush and all those that served in World War II and remembered here at this beautiful memorial. It is showing some signs of wear and some fatigue, but nevertheless it is a great testimony here to the city of Pittsburgh and southwestern Pennsylvania as a whole. I will begin with a small tour leading from the flagpole, which honors all the branches of the military, the Army, Air Forces, Coast Guard, Marine Corps, Merchant Marines, and the Navy. And every year on December the 7th, since the memorial has been opened, I come and do a presentation here in front of the tribute to the USS Arizona. From the Arizona, we go to Midway. From Midway, we go to a panel of industry and the might of Pittsburgh and its citizens and what they made to win the war. Of course, then we have the invasions of the Pacific Islands and retaking the conquered territories. And then, of course, in conclusion, on the Pacific side, the release of the atomic bombs in Hiroshima and Nagasaki, which ended the war in September of 1945. It's a beautiful vista here with this tri-sided stone with an American flag on top, a folded American flag, and I have a 48 star there as well. Honor, country, and duty. And here we start with the European side of things. We have the 28th Infantry Division, which is a Pennsylvania division, marching down the Champs-Élysées in front of the Arc de Triomphe in tribute to the retaking of Paris in August of 1944. The following panel is the D-Day invasion, where many, many soldiers and sailors and airmen and submarines, ship's complement on the USS Texas, took place during the D-Day landings. My great uncle, Alman Isber, killed in action from McKeesport, Pennsylvania, right here in southwestern Pennsylvania. Of course, then we have more and more tributes to the industry of Pittsburgh and shipbuilding, steelmaking, a variety of different things. And that ended up being as part of the bombing campaign in Europe. And the conclusion of the memorial here is this tribute and remembrance of the Holocaust and the sacrifices of lives lost and love gone, but not forgotten. I encourage you to visit this memorial. It is a remarkable tribute to those people in Pittsburgh and all the veterans of southwestern Pennsylvania that served so courageously in the Second World War.